Welcome back. Earlier today was reported the job openings were down in November. It's the lowest in more than 2 years. And what we're referring to is the JOLTS survey, the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey. Now, the employment listings declined to 8.7579 million. That's the lowest since March of 2021. And what we're going to see in a moment is that while they fall or they've fell to 2-year lows, there's more weakness to report on in the manufacturing sector in particular. We spoke about this earlier this week. Then we're also going to take a look at the JOLTS survey versus non-farm payrolls and a bright spot offered from the construction sector. First off, total non-farm job openings, and this is reported in thousands. And this is a JOLTS survey, so it's measuring the openings per sector. This is across all sectors. And so again, this is in thousands. 8.79 million is the number. This is the lowest low we've seen going back to January of this year, according to this chart, but actually going back to 2021. Certainly not a good development. On a month-over-month basis, let's point out two significant developments. Construction up 10% on a month-over-month basis. Non-durable goods manufacturing. Non-durable goods are those goods that are meant to last less than 5 years, you know, food and apparel, things of that nature, as opposed to, of course, durable goods that are meant to last more than 5 years, like utilities, washing machines, computers, things of that nature. Now, that's on a month over month basis. On a year over year basis, even better. Construction up 32% and the non durable goods down 47%. Certainly, there are other movers as well. By the way, on a year over year basis, notice all the negative numbers here. So the construction sector of the JOLT survey really does stand out. It seems that this is one of the only sectors we're experiencing any kind of growth lately. Now, the green line in this case is a non-farm payroll. You may ask, well, what's the connection? What's the correlation between the JOLT survey and the non-farm payroll, where this is where it stands? We can see in 2021, non-farm payroll numbers certainly looked a lot better, as did the JOLT survey. However, lately what we've seen are both numbers are going down. So there is a loose relationship between the two. The difference, of course, is non-farm payrolls reports all the new jobs created in the mostly in the private sector, whereas a JOLT survey shows us job openings. The JOLT survey, I think, acts more as a leading indicator because a job opening today would translate into more growth economically, tomorrow and the next day. Green line here is the S&P 500 in this case, and this is the JOLTS non-farm openings on a year-over-year basis. Notice 2021, 2022, we had positive year-over-year numbers. We've been negative actually since mid-22, interestingly enough, since the beginning of the inverted bond market around second quarter of 22. Since then, the S&P 500 has returned to the upside. Lately, it's been actually kind of weak. But overall, it's been strong, and that has diverged from the non-farm payroll openings figure. Now, in terms of the different sectors, we have the standard JOLTS number, that's the total non-farm, hospitality, healthcare, government, etc. The sector that seems to have the strongest correlation to the S&P 500 is construction, a 56% correlation. Now, a 100% correlation is a one-to-one relationship. 56% is pretty strong. It means as the S&P 500 goes up, construction job openings also go up, and conversely, when one goes down, the other goes down as well. Well, this is what the two look like together. Going back to early 22, green line S&P 500. These purple bars here represent the JOLT survey in terms of the construction sector in particular. And notice when these bars reached pretty significant highs, we saw stronger stock prices. It's not a perfect one-to-one correlation, and it seems that the stock market's a little bit of a leading indicator in this case because the S&P 500 went down before the jolts hit that very big low January of last year. But since then, both have risen to the upside. And this is really one of the bright spots because if we subscribe to the idea that the construction sector of the JOLTS survey seems to have the closest correlation to the S&P 500. We'll take a look at it now. It's at the highest high we've seen going back to late 22. So that shows us it's really a positive sign for the S&P 500. If construction is improving, well, certainly we would expect strength in the stock market to follow. So to recap over here, job openings fall to 2-year lows in terms of the JOLTS survey. There's more weakness in the manufacturing sector. We spoke about this the other day. We have poor Philly Fed and Empire State manufacturing numbers, as well as something that we've seen more recently, weakness in the manufacturing sector. Now, again, the JOLTS survey versus non-farm payroll, there's a loose correlation, but they do tend to move in the same direction. And the real bright spot in this report is construction. Construction is the hottest sector within the JOLTS survey, and it seems to be the strongest, has the strongest correlation or connection to the S&P 500. As a reminder, please visit us on our Twitter page, Just the Data, where we publish every single day the daily technical trading journal. What we look at is daily 5-day, 30-day, and 90-day ranges. So when we see, for example, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the daily range, it closed 12% off the bottom as opposed to the 30-day range, we see it's 88% off the bottom, meaning right near the high. Now, we have added also an ETF center to this, so we're looking at all the different ETFs that are represented with the S&P 500. We look at bonds and cryptos and commodities, things of that nature. So we're really trying to point out what's moving in the market, and hopefully we can use this information, to set up some interesting trades as well. That's published every single day on our Twitter channel. It's called at Just the Data. So please visit us there as well. We hope this has been helpful. We look forward to seeing you back soon.